Have you got that sinking feeling this morning? Did you pull your blueberry muffins out of the oven and they were sinking in the middle? I've seen a lot of posts of late and it seems like you ladies are having a little difficulty making these muffins. So I think that we got to get this process right. So I'm going to take you from the beginning right through to the end. Okay, now I want to tell you the 5 fundamental things that are going wrong. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to get your temperature to the right temperature. It's 350 degrees, okay? If you have a centigrade oven, it's 177. All right, make sure that your rack is in the center of your oven. All right, not at the top, not at the bottom, but in the center. And make sure that oven is right up to temperature before you even think about putting your baking in there. That means start your oven first before you start preparing and getting all your things ready. The second thing that you want to remember is to make sure that your baking powder is fresh, okay? If it's more than 6 months old, toss it in the garbage, okay? I just found one. If you're anything like me, I went creeping around my spice cabinet and I found this one, and this got a date on it from 2005. So I think this one has had its shelf life, don't you? Anyway, here we go. I just want to show you this. If you want to test your baking powder and make sure it's okay, that's all you need to do. Pour it in a glass of hot water and see if it's fizzing up, and there you see. Okay, it's creating a lot of air and a lot of bubbles in there. So that's what we're wanting. That's what we're aiming for with our baking powder. Don't attempt to put too much baking powder or baking soda in your dish, or you're going to end up with a catastrophe as well. Get your timing correct. Your timing must be absolutely spot on, okay? And the next thing that you got to remember is we're not going to overbeat this. Now I'm going to go through all these steps in a few moments, but we'll just leave it there just at the moment, and I'll show you how to make the almond butter first. Okay, the first step to making this recipe correctly is the almond butter. Now I've already showed you how to make this. I already did a YouTube video on it, but I'm going to go over it all again because you seem to be getting kind of confused about it. There's 2 ways of making almond butter. One is use ground almonds right here, see? Or you can use roasted almonds. Now I roasted these for 15 minutes in the oven at 350. Very, very simple. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw them into my NutriBullet here. And I'm going to make almond butter. Now the wonderful thing that I like about the roasted almonds is that your butter comes out really, really dark like peanut butter. If you do it from the ground almonds, your butter comes out quite white, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. But this gives a very, very rich taste. Now I'm sorry, this is going to make a little bit of noise, but I want to get this right, and I want you to see what is happening here. Okay, we've got ground almonds now. Now, see, it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker as we go. Now, I'm just going to give that a little shake up because I want it to get really a lot thicker than that. You can see it getting thicker, the butter now. Yeah. So this is our, there you go. That's beautiful. Have a look at that. That's what you're looking for, that kind of consistency, just like peanut butter, no different. Now, this you use for an awful lot of recipes. You can either roast the almonds like I've done here, but I have to tell you, they taste equally as good. Ground almonds, same in the NutriBullet. Or you can use your whole almonds like I did, but don't roast them and just ground them. Now this is your difference between ground almonds, or flour they call it, or almond meal. Almond meal has the shell still on it, but I mean the shell, the interior shell of the almond, okay? Here's a bag of almonds just to show you that shell there, okay? Not the hard shell. And then that's coarsely ground up, and that's used and called almond meal. This is called ground almonds or almond flour, okay? Now you can mix and match these. So now we've got ourselves a lovely buttery almond butter here, which we can put in a container and we can keep it for 3 months. Okay, now we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I had the opportunity of going to a great high school when I was young, and I had some wonderful childhood friends. Ruth Hall, Marg Meharg, Tanya Green, Marska Roskovich, Nancy Croto. We had so much fun, and our home economics teacher was Mary Lou Bruner. She was fabulous. We had our own kitchens at high school, which was amazing. I mean, they just don't do that nowadays. They don't even teach them how to cook. You just go to the supermarket and you get a takeaway and you throw it in the microwave. Well, that's not what it was about when I was growing up. We learned how to cook at school, and it was fantastic. We had a lot of fun. Sometimes we weren't paying attention, and sometimes we got into trouble, but that's okay too. Anyway, back in those days, we had our own kitchens and stuff, and the one wonderful thing about Mary Lou Bruner, who happened to be my home economics teacher, she really did teach us how to cook. So the muffins, you're having a problem with them. They're sinking. So I tried to show you here how to make your own roasted almond butter. You can make, this is almond meal that I ground up earlier. This is with the skins on. And that can even turn itself into butter. The more you zap it in your NutriBullet, the more buttery it's going to become. And you can do the same thing again with your ground meal. I'm just reiterating. Make sure again that your oven's preheated. And if you've got long hair, could you put it up, please? Because we don't want any hair in the baking. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our eggs. Now, it doesn't matter. Overbeating is one of the things that goes wrong with your cooking. But not with the eggs. What you want to do is get as much air. You'll see I'm not using my big whisk today because that was a little out of order. Get as much air as you can in there. So we're going to mix all the wet ingredients together first. All right, so that's your, now normally your next thing would be butter and sugar. So we're going to put our honey in, which is our sugar replacement, which is much, much better for us. That's a cup of honey. So we got 3 eggs there, 3 free-range organic eggs, and half a cup of honey. And to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of peanut butter, almond butter, I should say, sorry, almond butter, which I made earlier, and I showed you how to make it. So we're just going to add that in, and we're going to stir those ingredients together, okay? Just like so. So you get a nice consistency. Get the eggs and the honey and the peanut butter all mixed up nicely together. There, we're getting a nice creamy feeling. And it doesn't matter about the overbeating with these ingredients, okay? You can go to town on the eggs, right? What matters is when you mix your dry into your wet. All right, so I am really going to give that a good beating because we got that almond butter just to break up a little bit. I've got 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil. Now what I've done is I put the coconut oil, which is always hard and white, I put it in a cup and I've melted it in the microwave, okay? So we have a liquid now, all right? That next into your liquid. Now you want to get this done pretty quickly, and you don't want your mix, once it's done, hanging around on your kitchen counter for any length of time. Over here now, I'm going to do my almond meal, which I again made myself from almonds. So that's a cup of almond meal. All right, I got 1/2 teaspoon, this is a 1/2 teaspoon here, of baking soda. I've got 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder in there. I've got some 1/3 of a cup of coconut, and I got a cup of, I'm going to put those in last actually, the blueberries. So this is your dry ingredients here. So mix that all together. Get a nicely mixed in there. Okay. And once we've done that, we're going to do what Auntie Bruner taught me in home economics. We're going to fold this gently into the wet mixture. Okay, so we're going to put that into your wet mixture, like so. And we're just going to gently mix it in. Okay, your baking powder that's in here acts as a rising agent. And when it hits the oven, it starts the chemical reaction in the batter and starts rising, making the the batter rise. So that's all. I don't want you to beat the heck out of this, okay? And pretend it's like your husband's head or something like that. That's your blueberries. Put them in there and just gently fold them in. There we go. That's all we're gonna do with that. You can put some cinnamon in if you like. I don't bother. I like cinnamon, but I'm not that crazy about it. Here's my muffin tin. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna fill these 12 muffins up. So this is going to take a wee bit of time. So I'm going to do this, and then I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, girls, there you go. I've got all my mix, and it's delicious, by the way. I stuck my finger in there. It's all ready to go in the oven. Okay, remember what I told you. I want your temperature up at the right temperature. I've got this a little high at the moment, so I'm just going to turn that down. My light's out. I'm going to put them in now, and then we'll come back in a few minutes, and I'll show you what they look like when they come out of the oven. Okay. All right, here we go. The finished product. Now they are a little darker, and purely because the almonds, roasted almonds, make them a little darker. But as you can see, they're completely cooked. There's no sinking feeling. And now to enjoy with a cup of tea. Enjoy your day. Okay, the proof is in the eating, isn't it? So let's have a shot at this. Look at that, beautiful. Look at the beautiful blueberries. And as you can see, nothing's sinking. We haven't got that sinking feeling here today. I'm just gonna cut into that. It's still very warm, but nothing like a muffin. Mmm. 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 Lovely. Beautiful. Enjoy with your cup of tea.